his mind. So apparently that wasn't what was best. The new thing is what's best. Or if you don't get your way, then, well, it was God's will. Well, then what was the point of your prayer in the first place? You know, it just, and I feel like if people really think through the things they're doing in a sort of mindless rote way that they just are doing because they were taught to do them since they were children, if you really start trying to think about this, it's hard not to start to doubt some of it. And I think most people simply don't think. They just compartmentalize that off. That's the part of my brain that has no critical inquiry going on and will not look there.
You know, they're just afraid. They're afraid, you know, because like facing it and really, you know, saying that you don't believe any of that stuff, it's really tough, you know.
You're
People go like, how do you live? And it's like, well, you know, it's tough sometimes, but
well, there are those basic questions that people ask when they reach an age of question, and they say, where did I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going when I die?
The Baltimore Catechism, who made me? God made me. Remember that one?
What I'm saying is that religion answers those questions for them. We don't. We don't have an answer except the scientific. If you know, where did I come from, we can talk about genetics and evolution, but that isn't what people want to know. You know, where was I before I was here? Why am I here? We can't answer the why question. You know, why are you here? We're just here, and we should make the most of it. And then, but the last question is, what happens to me when I die? We know what happens, but that is a very unsatisfactory answer.
But just because something is comforting doesn't make it true. You know, I might be comforted to think I will go spend eternity with Santa Claus. And that might make me feel very comforted. And otherwise, without Santa, I have no meaning. That doesn't make it true. Just because it makes people feel good and it helps quell some of their existential fears, says nothing to its truth value.
And you'd pick somebody better than Santa Claus. You'd pick George Clooney or something.
Well, my position regarding what this is in people's heads, and of course most children wind up following the religion of the family they were born into. And that's the one true one, whatever it might be. You know, if you were born a Muslim, you know, Islam is it. If you were a Baptist, you're going to be a Baptist.
The God virus.
The God virus, it's in here. And I compare that to post-hypnotic suggestion. If you're a good hypnotic subject, and the hypnotist can tell you when you awake, you're going to find this room getting very hot. You will not remember any of this. You will not know that I've told you this. You wake up the subject, and he starts to sweat. And he's, you know, it's getting hot in here, and will justify the fact that that room is hot any way he can without ever knowing that it was planted in his brain. And that's the way I view the early childhood implantation of religion in there. They can't get it out. It's just there.
It would be interesting to see how many people became believers if no one was taught this as a small child before they had critical thinking faculties. If everyone, even just as late as, say, 12 or 13, had this presented out and say, can you go with it, I think so many people go, that's totally outlandish. Are you kidding me? But because it does seep in there before you're pre-verbal even, well, it's hard to root it out.
Some people call that child abuse.
Richard Dawkins does.
But didn't you all have things happen to you that you imagined yourself? When I would go to a Saturday confession, it was quiet in the church, and I expected some saint to appear to me. Damn, she never did.
Well, maybe you were not confessing enough.
That had to be it. We all had our own imaginary stuff going on with whatever religion it was, too. Not having been told this, we dredged it up from our own minds and imaginations.
All right. Well, Carter, you've been listening to these two ladies who are quite firm in their opinions. What's your impression?
I mean, I think we need you know, I'm just, personally, I'm low-key about it, and I just never bring it up or argue, or I'll walk away from any kind of, because there's just no way you're going to convince anybody who believes in it. I just kind of keep it quiet and just kind of let it be known what I disbelieve, and I'm just, hopefully I'm there for somebody who, you know, whose eyes might open one day.
Well, I'm less likely to argue and more question, just try and plant a seed. Not trying to change anyone's mind on the spot, but maybe just get them to start thinking a little bit. I think that's really all you're going to accomplish in any one conversation.
And when Carter, when you said that you could be there for someone who might be inclined and look for some comfort in someone else who doesn't believe. That's what our whole organization is there, for people, like-minded people, to support each other. I have people who call me on the phone and say, I thought I was the only one. And, you know, it's terrible to be out there alone. And so it is good to be there for someone who may want some encouragement. Well, folks, we are getting very close to the end of our show. And our whole purpose was to show that we are not all alike, which has been obvious in our previous shows with groups just like the three of you have also indicated that, you know, we don't all think alike. We don't all have the same kind of lifestyle. We don't all have the same level of education, or we don't have the same kind of family lives. So we just want you folks who are watching our show to understand that your neighbor may be one of us. You just don't know it. We don't have horns. We're not evil people. We have our own. We have a system of morality which is equal to or better than any other. I want to thank you all for watching, and we hope we'll see you again next week.